So, how much do you need for an emergency fund? Do you need $5,000? Do you need $10,000? I'm not sure what the answer is for you, but I'm confident you can figure it out. Hey guys, thanks for coming back to my channel. It's Tina, and I always ask you to picture what financial freedom looks like to you so that we can talk about ways to get there. If you are new, please hit the subscribe button because I would love for you to join my YouTube family. And if you're coming back, thank you so much for your support, and please like and comment so I know what kind of content you're interested in. Emergency funds. What exactly is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is a designated amount of money that you have set aside in case of something unexpected occurring, whether that be unemployment, a medical emergency, or a vehicle breaking down. With that in mind, there's two things that you really need to consider when deciding how much money you need in your emergency fund. The first is, what are your required, absolutely bare minimum, necessary monthly expenses? And the second one is, how long do you think your emergency could last for? When calculating the first part of that, the monthly expenses, there's a few ways to think about it. If you want to go strict emergency funds, sort of the bare minimum that you need, you would consider your four walls. The four walls include your housing, including utilities, so things you require to keep the lights on. It will include your transportation, possibly including your car insurance, and then also your gas. And it will include food. You don't want to go hungry during an emergency. And then lastly, it would include clothing. A lot of people would argue that you don't require clothing in your emergency fund calculation because you can make what you have last for a while. But if you've got small children who are likely to experience a growth spurt, absolutely consider that for your calculations. On the flip side, you might not want to just stick with the four walls. You might want to include everything in your monthly budget so that you can sustain your current lifestyle. That being said, you would want to disinclude anything like savings or investments because you're leaning into your investments and savings to get you through the emergency. Scratch that, not the investments. You're leaning into your savings, specifically your emergency savings, to get you through the emergency. When you're looking at your monthly expenses, you might want to do everything, or you might want to weed a few things out. For example, if you're unemployed, do you really need that gym membership? Do you really need cable? Do you really need internet? Now, perhaps you do need internet because you want to be accessible to potential employers, and you want to make sure that you can still access the content and the services that you require. For example, a cell phone. A cell phone's not part of your four walls, but I would say that it's pretty important and you should keep it available to you during an emergency. So now that you've got some idea on what to include in your calculations, actually one more thought on that. In your calculations, you might also want to include an annual expense, not part of your monthly, so you wouldn't make this part of the multiplier, but you might want to tack this on at the end. Things like an annual HOA due, or if your home is already paid off, you might want to include your property tax or your home insurance or other insurance elements like an umbrella plan or life insurance. So those bills, sometimes they're monthly, sometimes they're not. So figure out what they are and decide if that needs to be included in your emergency fund. Now that we've talked about what to include, how long do you need it for? There's different ways to think about this. Many people say 3 to 6 months is what you should be saving for. If you're a dual income household, you probably want to lean on the 3-month side of it because if one of you becomes unemployed, the other one of you is still going to be able to carry a portion of the load with their income. If you're a single income household, you may want to consider 6 months because who knows how long it might take for you to get a new job, and you don't want to put your family on the outs during that window of time. Honestly, you might want to go even longer. Maybe you're self-employed, you own your own business, and something's happened and you can't work right now. How long would it take for you to recover? Or if your business fails and you have to start a new business, how long does that take? How long does it take to learn a new marketable skill so that you can find different employment. Maybe that takes a year. So in that case, your multiplier would be 12 months. I would say that for my husband and I, even though we're a 2 income household, we've decided on 6 months. And we also decided on our full monthly expenses because we didn't want, if one or both of us becomes unemployed, to have to really give up what our lifestyle currently looks like. We'll probably trim in a few things. But frankly, we want to kind of keep things going and keep as much normalcy as possible while we seek out a new job opportunity. So we did 6 months. And then the other, I guess, contributor to that decision is that we both work for the same company. So if something happened where one of us became unemployed because the company goes through a change, it could really affect both of us. So again, 6 months was the right duration of time for us because we do feel that within 6 months we could find some other kind of work. I mean, we are able-bodied and go-getters. So yeah, I guess that's kind of what I wanted to say about that, but I'm so curious. Where do you guys stand? What's the right duration for you? What do you consider to be part of your emergency expenses? I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this topic because there really is no right or wrong answer, and I look forward to reading your comments. Thanks, you guys. Hope this was informative for you, and I will talk to you in the next video.